nutty. But I want to make a point. So, morning. Windy on the chilly end, raining earlier. As much of a nuisance as this is to my spoiled ass once it's 72 and sunny all the time, which is why I moved out here. There's a balancing going on where the earth is literally in certain areas changing pressure, in other areas changing pressure, droughts in some areas and overabundance of rain in others, tsunamis in some, hurricanes in others, earthquakes, volcano eruptions. We look at these things as disasters. And when we look at it from our perspective, yeah, possibly people inhabiting a region, losing their lives, it might be considered a disaster. But when you look at it from the Earth's perspective, or you back up a little bit under the bigger picture, you look and see that these are healing cycles. That's really like an immune response for the Earth balancing herself to remain in this realm of wherever she is. If she didn't do that, she'd end. And all she looks at us as are like a microbiome to her, right? Like there's some probiotics, there's some bad bacteria. We're the microbiome as well. So we live here within her, working with her. But she knows exactly what she's doing. She's balancing herself out. And again, from our perspective, this can be a nuisance, this can be dangerous, but we have to respect that. We have to acknowledge that. Now I get to the reason of this video. What does it mean to be sick? Because you hear this all the time, people saying, I'm sick. Or I've been sick, I've been declared sick, I've been diagnosed as sick. Okay. Usually there's symptoms. Congestion, fever, malaise, lethargy. Could even be some sort of skin reaction or some sort of vomiting, diarrhea, some other kind of symptom. And we always are like, I'm sick. And then somebody will take a test during that time that you're going through that and will identify something with that test. And while you're expressing those symptoms, that test will show something, and then they'll label you and call it something. And then they'll say you're sick, you're diseased, there's something wrong with you. We usually have the cure being a drug or a treatment of some kind, but you can even have a drug or a treatment being an essential oil or a supplement. But still, that's based on the premise that you're sick and something's wrong with you. You're flawed. Well, what are those processes? Just like the earth uses storms, pressure changes, heavy rains, drought, volcanoes, earthquakes, and the other. You have things inside of you. You have this intelligence inside of you. It's the same as is playing the earth. You have this intelligence that's monitoring your system, your ability to adapt within your environment at all times. If it senses that you need to upgrade your system in some way, there's an invader, spike of fever. That's the body's intelligence to create a heat temperature change that's going to burn or make it not possible for certain microorganisms to exist that healthfully exist in you already, but there's an overabundance of them for whatever reason. So a fever would come up, a congestion would come up. Why? Why would mucus go? To bring all this out of you, out through your orifices that'll go. Maybe a sneeze, maybe a runny nose, maybe a cough of some kind, maybe itchy, watery eyes. Why would the eyes water? Maybe pulling toxins or debris out into the middle of your eye, keeping it out of your body. It's this balancing act, just like the earth does. Okay? Why would you be tired? She wants you to rest. Why would you be hungry sometimes and not hungry other times? She's talking to you. Why would you feel upset or even depressed or anxious? Not even just with that, those feelings we call that something's wrong with you. Well, those feelings are, again, your body's messages. These symptoms are the body's messages, the language that the body talks to you, telling you that you need to change your environment, change how you adapt and prepare for your environment, listen to her, work with her. She's guiding you. But we always call it sick. And it's like, if we can't, I was sick before, they measured this thing in me, I caught something. So something more powerful is your belief, your purpose, your relationship, your resonance with other people, your environment, the environment you sit in, what you watch, what you listen to. If the body feels threatened at any time, it's going to do its process to level up, to prepare for your survival. If it didn't do this, your survival would end. It knows this. She knows this. So everyone's like, oh, my survival, my body killed me. Like my healing response in disease killed me. Maybe she keeps everything grouped up. All these toxins didn't do something called a tumor. And if she didn't do that, you would have died years earlier. But we always look at that as, well, that killed her. The disease that the body was fighting ended up killing her. It did its best case scenario of the environment and the choices that you made and the lifestyle that you chose to put it in to help you survive and adapt and thrive within that environment. So we need to reframe how we look. You've been coached and primed to think that everything is, that you're flawed, you're diseased from the second you're fucking born, that you need help. And we're going to inject you and you need help. You're flawed, you're not strong, you're not confident, you're not able. Everything you're feeling is wrong. You can't feel anything. You have to look a certain way. You have to believe a certain thing. You need help from the outside in to function in this world. We need to reframe how we look at that. So do I express symptoms? Hell yeah. Do I call it sick? No. Do I have runny nose? Do I have itchy, watery eyes? Do I have a fever? Do I have aches? Yeah, sure. I listen to her, acknowledge her, thank her really, get a little pissed off because I think that's an appropriate feeling because it sucks. We have to take a time out from our busy lives. We might have to pause work or pause sports or pause a relationship, or you can't go on that date or you can't go to that concert. What a nuisance. But here's the deal. We've got all these treatments and therapies out there by all these specialists and people labeling themselves with these pieces of paper called degrees. And when we feel symptoms, we present ourselves to these specialists. And these specialists may run a test, maybe not. And they'll say, you're sick with XYZ. Here is essential oils, supplements, drugs, medications, pharmaceuticals, injections, some sort of treatment, some sort of manual therapy of some kind. You subdue those symptoms, basically you mute the conversation or throw the fire alarm out of the burning house. And it might buy you some time, a week, 10 days, 3 days, a month. And then body takes a recalibration and goes, we're not done yet. We need another storm, or we need another tsunami, or we need another earthquake. She rises up again. And then you mention, man, I've been sick for the last month. I can't kick this. Did you ever acknowledge it? Did you ever help it? No, you just took a bunch of shit to keep going. She's slowing you down. She's trying to get your attention. Listen to her. Why would you puke one time and then have diarrhea the other? She knows if bacteria goes from your stomach into your small intestines, you're in trouble. So she purges it out through the mouth. If it slips through and gets to the small intestine, she runs liquid shit out your ass so that it doesn't get absorbed into the body, creating a further problem. She knows. A swollen ankle, what a nuisance, man. Inflammation in the body, God, what a pain in the ass. The healing response? Pain? Dilated tissue to bring in healthy new tissue to flush out garbage through the lymph? What a pain in the ass. Let's reduce swelling, lower pain, reduce inflammation with these external cues. But you never end up healing. You never end up adapting or upgrading your system as she was trying to let you know that. It's all about symptom reduction in naturopath world and allopathic world. And this is the problem. We need to reframe what is sick. It's not a negative thing. Everything you're feeling is an appropriate response. Listen to that. And it doesn't even get into like what are viruses, what are bacteria. It's bigger than that. What's an injury, acute, chronic? Who needs to stop? Everything that happens, your body is out for you. It's on your side. It's your team. She loves you. She wants everything that you've got to be attained. Anything you can think about, dream about, picture, envision, anything that you aren't even aware of, she's trying to make it happen. Quit fighting her. Quit trying to manipulate her and control her. Quit looking at it as flawed. Quit looking at it, you need help from the outside in. And if you do go to get help, like from myself or somebody else, like Dr. Cassie Huckabee or somebody else, Dr. Kelly Brogan, Dr. Joe Yee, all of a sudden it's those people will, first of all, hold you 100% responsible for your situation, hold you accountable, help you alongside you make better decisions and go through the healing process. But you are the ones that will heal you. If you're going to a practitioner, therapist, degreed professional of some kind, and they're doing something to you to make you feel better, you want to leave. That's a place you don't want to be. They'll be very popular because they don't allow the person to go through the really tough process of healing, which is tough. That's why you need support and you need to be open about it. And they're always making the most. They'll always have the ads and always have the nice stuff, and they'll always be, that's the best doctor. Why? Because they made the most money that year? I think the doctors are the best therapists or trainers or whoever are the ones that teach you how to not need them. And those are the good ones, in my opinion. So, what is it to be sick? Try to reframe that, because it's not what you've been telling yourself. Something to think about on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Cheers.